Hello, mi gente. Welcome back to another video. I decided to form a first impressions video for Jump Force since a lot of you guys have asked me about whether they should get the game or not. And just as a disclaimer, I'm going to let you guys know I did get a review copy of the game. So if you think that that would sway my opinion in any way, shape, or form, you don't have to watch the video. You don't have to take me seriously. I'm just letting you guys know that just in case you guys want to make an assessment for yourself if you should watch the video or not, okay? Now, let's talk about the bad things real quick, because those are the first thing we gotta mention. The story mode. The story mode is complete garbage. Might as well not even play it. I played it and it bored the shit out of me, okay? The interactions between the characters don't really go the way you would assume so. Like, you'd think a character like Deku from My Hero Academia and Vegeta from Dragon Ball would be like a super cool interaction, right? Where these two characters that would never otherwise meet would talk to one another in a specific way. Even that doesn't happen in the story mode, because the way that most of the story, not all of it, most of the story works is that they have the character models either in the hub world or whatever map that is online that you can fight in online. They talk to one another through this dialogue bots. There's no voice acting, and that's it. It's just two character models looking at each other, standing there still, not moving, and that's basically it. Okay, it's not even worth talking about. Once you play the story mode, you see where the development time went, and I promise you that none of that is gonna be in the story mode. The next thing is the loading screens. There's so many loading screens in this game, and they're so obnoxiously long that you actually kind of just end up having a bad taste in your mouth every time you play a match, because you have to go through that every time you play a match, okay? Whether it's online or with a friend, you have to go through these these loading screens very, very often, and it will get on your nerves at some point. As of recording this video, they've already announced a patch that's supposed to fix the loading screens and a bunch of smaller issues that people kind of had a gripe with. So all of these things that I'm mentioning are subject to change at some point if they actually patch it. The next thing I gotta talk about is the very first time you boot Jump Force. They have you go through this very, very lengthy tutorial. They explain to you the concept of the story mode and what the story mode is about. And it's not even interesting. Like I said before, the story mode is ass. So you pretty much chilling there having to go through this 30-minute long tutorial and having to talk to the team members, because the story mode consists of 3 team members. Goku, Naruto, and Luffy have their own teams. And then you gotta talk to Commander Glover, and then you gotta do a tutorial on the mechanics of the game. It's very strenuous for you, man. Like, by the time you're done with the tutorial, you're kind of drained. Like, you don't even feel like playing, because for me personally, I wanted to play online. I didn't care about the story mode. I didn't care about creating my CAC. I just wanted to hop online and play with the characters, right? Because they're unlocked right away. And I couldn't even do that. By the time I was done with the tutorial, when I went online, I was just tired. I was just mentally tired. The good thing though is that you're gonna have to go through it only once. And from what we've already seen from the patch notes that they released, apparently they're gonna allow you to just skip cutscenes and whatnot. So that's pretty good for those that didn't get the Ultimate Edition or that didn't get the game yet. Now, the last thing that I gotta talk about, and I think is one of the most important things in my opinion for the game, is the lack of options for friendly matches. You're not able to rematch your opponent unless you make another lobby and invite them again. You're not able to spectate. There's no multiplayer lobby. When I say multiplayer lobby, I mean that you can't have more than 2 people in a lobby at once, okay? And that kills the entire party aspect of the game, or friendly aspect of the game, in my opinion. You know, I mean, we live in an age of content creators. We live in an age where people got a lot of friends now online, and you'd think that they would have an option to allow multiple people to just come into a lobby and watch friends fight. And even that is not possible. And I've seen it in games like Mortal Kombat 9 and like King of the Hill and stuff. You can do that in older games, so why is it not present here? I hope that in the future they add all of those features, because they're very important for the longevity of the game. Once people actually start kind of getting into the game a lot more, they will be looking for other ways to enjoy themselves. And with the lack of options for the fighting itself, I see it as a problem, right? Because right now all you really have is the player matches, the private matches, and then the ranked. That's literally it right now. That's all you can do. Alright, so that wraps up the bad things. Let's talk about the good things. First of all, the CAC. I know people really like making their own characters, and it sells a lot of copies. Just that concept alone sells a lot of copies. The CAC is one of the things that really goes hard in this game. You can make literally any character that you think of that didn't make the original roster. You can pretty much create it. I mean, my homie PS360 HD2 made a video with a bootleg Neferpito, and by bootleg I just mean, you know, it's a CAC, it's not the actual character, but it looks just like the character, and you can give it any moveset you want, and some of the movesets actually corresponds very well with that character's, like, you know, moves in the anime and manga that they're from. So you can literally make your own character if you wanted to. They give you a lot of options. The options are actually very in-depth. The character selection is very in-depth. You can't do too much in terms of like how they fight, right? Like the regular auto combos that they have. But you can do a lot in the looks department. My boy PCC also made Dark Magician Girl, Dark Magician, Android 18 from Dragon Ball, Noelle from Black Clover. You know, you can just really go ham with the customization in this game, and that's something that's a plus. Now, this one's a little tricky for me because I did kind of slander it a bit before the game came out, and that is the roster. Now, I do believe that the roster is not as good as it should have been, simply because there were a lot of characters missing, especially from J-Stars. But once you do get to play some of these kits, they're fun, okay? I don't like the fact that some characters are missing because of the hype factor, right? But other than that, the characters that are currently in the roster are pretty fun to use. They all have their own special moves that make them unique, and their own fighting style that make them unique. So in that sense, they actually did get it right. I will say this, the roster, even though it might not have some of your favorite characters, the characters that are in the roster are pretty fun. Even if you're not a fan of the series. Like, I'm not a fan of JoJo's, but I had myself a blast using Dio and Jotaro. Oh shit, bro. Yo, man, that shit's so canon, bro. Alright, so let's talk about what is arguably the most important thing in any game, and that is the gameplay, right? That's the one thing you want it to be fun. And Jump Force is actually pretty fun in terms of the combat, in terms of the super moves and the auto combos that you have and the supports. All of that is pretty neat, alright? You're gonna have fun when you play ranked. You're gonna have fun when you play with friends. Now, granted, ranked does have a lot of cheese, okay? You will see the worst aspects of the gameplay on ranked, but that does not mean that the gameplay itself is not fun. Of course, there are certain things in the gameplay itself, like a few kinks that need to be worked out, and I don't think that is anything big enough that can't be fixed with a patch, okay? A patch can easily fix that, and since they've already announced a patch is coming, I'm pretty certain that a lot of the problems that we've already talked about might be kind of hashed out pretty soon, okay? So, my final thoughts on the game. I think it's worth $40, okay? I wouldn't pay $60, I wouldn't pay $100, I would pay $40 because there's not enough content to justify the $60 price point, and the people that got the Ultimate Edition that paid $100, I think took the biggest L out of everybody, simply because they really only paid $100 just to play 3 days early. If you're a YouTuber, you know, it's not a big deal because I guess it helps you get content out faster. But other than that, there was no need for the Ultimate Edition. If you guys still want to get the game for the full 60, go right ahead. I mean, if you're mainly an online player, you're gonna get your money's worth out of fun. But if you're looking for like a story mode and the other things, you know, not being a problem for you, go ahead, man. go ahead, get it. I don't care. You just know that $40 is the price when I pointed out. And if you guys think it's worth more than that, by all means, go ahead and get it. I'm going to end the video here, guys. Let me know what you thought of my opinions on the game. Now, this is just my first impressions. I didn't go too hard. But I don't think I'm going to do a full review, to be honest, because it'll just be rehashing the same shit that I've already talked about. And I don't want to do that. But anyways, guys, I'm out. Peace.